Good morning to you. Hope you're well where you are. So today I'd like to talk a little bit about what lives under the surface, and to start with a little story of mine. So when I was 18, I went to Africa on an overland trip, travelling on this converted lorry with coach seats on the back, 20 of us, heading from London all the way down through to Kenya. So it was a 4-month trip. The first 3 weeks or so, we were all very nice to each other, all very kind of social, civilized, getting to know each other. There were different identities, different personalities, figuring out how we get on together, because we were a group of strangers. And then we came to the desert, to the Sahara Desert. Now this was such a huge shift for all of us as a group when we entered into this wilderness, this openness, this spaciousness. So when you hit the desert, it's like you lose the definition. You don't really see or know where the horizon is, if you like, of the land. Sometimes you get sandstorms that totally wipe you out and you can't see in front of your face. And psychologically, what this did for me and seemed to do for us is it stripped away this social veneer of an identity that wants to be liked and loved and seen and recognized and fit in and belong, and something more pure, if you like, more raw, more wild, more savage started to appear within the group. Because it really was about survival. We had a very small amount of water, a bit of food, and if the lorry broke down in the desert, you're in all sorts of trouble. So we were on survival mode, super alert, and this primal survival energy rose in pretty much all of us. This was so interesting for me. I've always been a student of human behavior and psychology and awareness, and just a witness in myself these wilder aspects emerging. And what it showed me was more that there is so much more happening with me, with us, underneath the surface that we sometimes don't want to acknowledge, or feel too afraid to acknowledge, or are socially embarrassed to own up to what's really going on. And sometimes you've got this wild lust or anger or deep frustration or huge grief and sadness, like deep emotional, like swells in the ocean, like they're so huge and so deep and so vast, and we try and keep a lid on them with this kind of social niceties and this facade, this kind of pseudo personality that we present to the world. Everything's fine, it's okay, don't worry. And you can see that this egoic sense living on the surface is trying to control and manage the situation. But as Freud pointed out, there's this id energy, which is our primal characteristics, which are more connected to our reptilian brain, mammalian brain, like our deep ancestry in our biology. So I want to say this in terms of like authenticity, like what it means to be authentic. It's not just a whole load of socially constructed ideas and good behavior or a charitable way of being. Authenticity isn't about being nice. It's really, in my feeling, view and understanding, it's about being real, being honest. So it's giving up or noticing that you're playing the games, at least to start with, the social nicety games, civilized games, and actually start to get more in touch with what's in your guts, what's in your testicles and ovaries, what's in your heart, what's really there, passionately alive inside of you. And to give more and more space for the expression of this like human honesty. Some people say this is vulnerability, just to open up. I feel it's much deeper than this. It's really about getting in touch with truth, the truth of our existence, when we start playing the game of this mask game with each other. So this is an invitation for all of us to just drop in, go deeper, go under the surface, get more real with yourself and with others, and so we can live in a world which is based on truth and honesty and transparency and reality, the reality of what's happening with us. And I feel when we all can express this and know this with each other, we know where we stand, we know what is the relationship, instead of all the confusion that comes around with the song and dance of this masquerading personality. So I hope this is interesting for you. Make a comment if you like, and I'll post these videos as often as I can. Wishing you a beautiful day with all of you. Bye bye for now.